I think when we talk about these scientists and engineers and military personnel, we have to give the FBI, first of all, enough time for them to do their due diligence. I don't want to jump to any conclusions here. I think it's very important that we allow the investigation to continue and let those results be provided to the president, to the National Security Council, and to Congress and the American people. But yeah, there are some very interesting connections that we can certainly talk about if you like.
Well, I guess I asked you, though, personally. You've been a whistleblower. You've been talking about this. You talk about UFOs. Are you worried that men in black are going to come kill you?
Well, look, I don't want to say men in black. I think that's a bit cliche. But the reality is that, yes, some individuals who I personally know who are considered whistleblowers have been intimidated. They've tried to intimidate me. We've had threats against us. We've had drones and surveillance. This is not paranoia. This is, look, I'm a trained intelligence officer and also a former special agent in counterintelligence. So, you know, I understand the tools of the trade.
Okay, I think there may be a big gulf here. Chris, as you look at this list, and we see people who at times are also troubled and then they disappear. There's some things that are certainly coincidental. Once an accident, twice a coincidence, 3 times an enemy action was Moscow rules. Is it fair to say we're now at 12 and therefore there is something?
Well, Leland, I mean, there is no official list. The list is something that's sort of a creation of social media and mainstream media, and I think it's captured people's imagination. So we have 12 names out there right now, but you can take 4 or 5 of them and eliminate them almost immediately. I mean, Nino Lerrero was a victim of the mass shooter, the Brown University mass shooter. There's no connection there whatsoever to any of the other scientists, and you kind of know where that came from. One of the others was a burglary, carjacking situation. He's deceased. He's gone. I don't think that's related. We have another one that died of arteriosclerosis. It was not. The coroner's report said that. You know, there was a lot made of the fact that there was no actual death report. Well, the coroner's report actually laid that out. So, most of the deaths can be explained. The missing scientists cannot be explained. They just can't. So, if there's anything going on at all here, it is what I would call a garden variety espionage. It's the stuff that happens on a daily basis with nuclear scientists, rocket propulsion scientists. Anyone who's working on sensitive technology is the target of espionage from Russia, China, and other hostile foreign intelligence services. So I just think if something's going on here, it's not alien abductions. It's not the government taking out our own people. I think it's espionage, if it's anything.
Luis, I guess to that point, are people who are talking about UFOs and talking about this as a conspiracy doing everybody a disservice? Because to Chris's point, they're looping in or adding on names that actually discredit the theory rather than make us all worry about the most important theory, which is what Chris lays out, that it's the Russian or the Chinese or somebody else.
Well, we have to be very careful, right? So Chris is absolutely right. I think we have to be careful to jump to conclusions prematurely. There's a lot of information out there, and frankly, there's a lot of stuff out there that can be explained rather easily. So I do think some of this conversation is being confused by social media and people who are very eager to make connections. But let me say this, though. It is very important that when we say routine espionage, there's a big difference between someone like Russia and China coming into this country and actually kidnapping individuals because someone has a top secret SCI security clearance and maybe working on some sort of advanced propulsion or advanced technology. That's a big step than just routine espionage. Routine espionage is maybe going to
it's a very good point.
Conducting surveillance.
It's a very good point about people actually disappearing. Chris, Luis, we'll leave it there. Gentlemen, thank you both very much.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.